so you have to do something, make it look kind of good. So I had to pull my jeans jacket. See, if you look at the back end, Abby, help me. Am I live now? Well, hold on. Let me just tell the people in the live. People in the live, good morning. Here's what I was late. I'm here. Let me put you so you can see me. I was late this morning. 25 minutes to the hour. That's when I woke up. Nobody's looking at me on the live now. Nobody's looking at me on the live. So one person is there. Good. So anyway, here is what. 25 minutes to the hour is when I woke up this morning. That was not good at all. I don't pride myself in being late. So in any event, I had to rush. And I rushed and I rushed and I rushed. And you know what? When I heard Xander, that was at 15 minutes too. So I heard the horn blow. So I knew I was extra late. But then I found solace in the fact that when I got out of the house, there was what's his name waiting on the bus. The little guy, you know the guy? The little guy on the other side of the road from me, you know the one who goes to St. Mark Secondary School? He was waiting on the bus because he missed Xander, so he was late too. So I picked him up and I says, good morning. He says, good morning, how are you doing? I said, hey. So he says, I said, you're late? He says, yes, I'm late this morning. I said, I consider the mightiest thing we late. I found solace in the fact that he was late too. Yeah, I'd company being late. So here I am for you today. Forgive my dress kind of thingy. Let me just button up this thing because Jerry, good morning.
But I was not late.
No, you were there. You was here.
You said Marais was late today, but I was not late.
You don't live in Marais. Who give you the impression that you live in Marais? You don't live in Marais by any stretch of the imagination. One, if you're going towards Grenville, Marais starts just after the evangelical church. Right?
Yeah.
So go right up to the junction and it ends at the bridge. We don't cross the bridge over.
Bridge.
It ends in the junction.
Yes.
Right?
So,
it ends in the junction.
Yeah.
And then going across.
To your left or your right?
To your right.
Is where?
It ends in the junction too. Everything ends in the junction. So it's from the bridge to the junction. So by any stretch of the mind, even if you decide to go back home by your mom, you don't live in Marais.
Yeah.
Right? You don't live in Marais. You go up, what you call it, number 1 resident. You don't live in Marais. You go down at the police station to number 2 residence. You still don't live in Marais. You're not from Marais.
Okay.
All right. Put that to your pipe and if you want to smoke it, whatever you want to do with it.
Another question. The opposite of life is death, right?
That's what you say.
Okay, yeah, okay. The opposite of sadness is happiness. The opposite of depression is joy. What is the opposite of hope?
Hold on. Go ahead again.
The opposite of life is death. The opposite of sadness is happiness. The opposite of depression is joy. What is the opposite of hope?
What does woe mean?
W-O-E-O?
When they say woe be unto you, that's like a curse. So the opposite of curse is blessing.
Yeah.
But that's all I can tell you.
That's not the answer.
What is the answer?
All right. What you tell a donkey?
Stop.
No, how donkey go?
No, I wouldn't tell donkey that. I just pull the reins and say stop. If I have to say anything.
If I need to stop, you say go donkey go. Right?
No.
You know.
If I want the donkey to stop, I pull the reins.
And if I need to go, what you say? You just say.
What I say?
What you think you want to go?
I pull it along. I don't understand.
Okay. But the opposite
that's if you're trained. If you're untrained donkey, then you can't do it. Good morning to all my people on the live. What are you doing this morning?
The opposite of woe is giddy up. Woe donkey and then giddy up.
Can I say something? And I want you, just like how you're laughing, the opposite of smart is doa sense. You understand? The opposite of smart is doa sense. So don't do that this morning, okay? Don't do that this morning. The opposite of smart is sense, right?
Sense. Good.
We got a caller. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Donald. Good morning to you. Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Tommy.
My
Mr.
phone.
Donald,
Hold on.
usually
Hold on. Hold on now.
Yeah.
Hold on. My phone just said folks, my phone just shut down. That was late. Didn't charge my phone. Don't have a charger with me. I have to wait until I get a charger. So message me not on my phone. You have to do so and message me on the thingy there. Right. Good. On the Facebook thing, yeah, so you can send me a message. Good morning, Camille. How are you doing?
Well, I feel like today. I want to say good morning to you and your staff. And I want to thank you very much for helping me.
I do
And I
have.
want to say this morning, listen to me, Mr. Donald.
Mhm.
I want to say this to the people that helped me. And thanks very much. Thanks very much. I went yesterday. I called. Well, I make sure you got the radio station number on WhatsApp. And I'm trying again get jobs with the doctor and the people they could have speak to you, but we didn't get into it. Anyhow, I did the test. I went up there and I did it. And you know, I don't know anything about it. You know, they break down
That's
right?
good. That's
And
good.
why did they tell me they got the message? You know? So they break down one of the thing. I got to pay the 120.
Okay.
So I want to say good morning to the people that helped me. Thanks very much from all of my heart. And you know, Mr. Donald, oh no, sorry, Mr. Camino. Yes, we had hard. The doctor been telling me to go and take this blood test months, and I tell him I don't go there going. But it just happened that Saturday last week. I send me prayers, and I go Monday morning. I get a result, Mr. Donald, blood. God love me, God love me. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Mr. Donald, the blood thing right up to zero, and I don't know how I even feel.
Mhm.
I know just, you know, when, when the man opened it, Dr. Andrew, good morning, I apologize to him. I go on me, didn't apologize. What he said, you stubborn, you stubborn. Look, so I could have put it in over. All the other organs is all right, but this blood thing, so I had to go and buy the medication, and the body needs a lot of iron, and I don't eat, you know. I'm cooking this and giving everybody food, and I'm going to eat iron.
Yeah.
So you are going with me there?
You're preparing food and you're not eating it.
Yeah, and I'm giving everybody and
Yeah.
bringing on the friends guy
You have to eat.
that homeless. And Mr. I don't need to be honest. Only toast red, and my fruit.
See
And
you.
Mr. I don't know what you morning for me, you know. So I want to thank everybody again. All the secret people that help me thank all you thanks. And my son and my daughter.
Mm.
Thanks for everybody. I didn't realize you love me so much. When you tell me that you're the activist, you give me keep on this money to everybody.
I sent you something yesterday. You got it, right?
But yes, I end up buying all the iron tablets,
All the medication.
all the medications of the class. I call again and I try to tell you.
So
I
you
don't know.
have you don't have my number?
I call your phone out, only white bill.
Uh-huh.
I get in. I say, well, maybe I have something falling cool. So, all
What,
kind
what,
of things.
what is that?
I say, maybe you have falling cool,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
because I've
alcohol.
got much time.
Yeah, alcohol.
Anyhow,
Yes.
Andre Donald,
Love.
thank you very much.
I got your back.
I'm alive today. Thank you for everybody that helped me scare me. All the secret people, thank you very much. The lady, everybody, morning to everybody. Yes. So I did it.
That
Eh?
I
Zanda morning.
hold on. Zanda explained to you where that set came from, right?
Yes, so I want to just let me a special love. For me, please. And I don't died. So it's good when things happen, you speak, because you get it. I really need it, and I would have did it.
No, you weren't dead yet. I'm ready for you to dead yet. When I'm ready
Yes.
for you to do it, I will tell you.
You learn good morning and Katya and Patty, Mr. Watt, because everybody was listening, and Floppy and Ram and all of them. Good morning to all them boss men.
All right, I gotta go have a program. I have a couple of guys I have to interview this
Bye
morning.
bye. Thank
Take
you
your
very
time.
much.
All right, one love, sis.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. 91.9, 91.5 Triple W dot. And I want to say special thanks to all those of you who assisted in relation to Cami. And it's really nice for you all to just come forward without being asked. You all just came forward. And I think that is really, really special to do that for her as an individual. And I keep saying that is testimony. And JD, you probably could help me here. Well, where is Nabi? Nabi, come here, please. But JD, you probably could help me here. That should be testimony as to how we are in Grenada. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things. But the other cases that we have come, I mean, it's not broadcast. I mean, people don't know.
Yeah, people don't.
A lot of you know, a lot of times people do help. A lot of people.
You do a lot of things.
You don't know.
Yeah,
A
don't
lot
know.
of people
Although
don't.
you haven't
I don't
done,
write. I don't.
you haven't done anything for me for the last couple of times.
What is
And I need to start
what it is.
but the thing in
What
the back
it?
right there.
Well, yeah, I date. You need to keep your date.
I didn't keep or you didn't keep.
You
Let
don't
me
keep your date,
no,
sir.
come on, let me tell you
I
today.
always tell you, I'm always available. Even though regardless of what they're doing, once I'm always available. I put people first. Yeah.
Well, like I ain't people know. Like I ain't people by you at all because I ain't coming first at all.
I put people first.
Okay, let's make another date for us to start the garden.
Yeah, well, the same day we had before. The time, the same day.
It can't be the same
The
day.
same day we had before. Not whenever I'm available, I'm always available.
Okay,
I'm
are
always
you
available.
available this Saturday? No, you know what? No, I have a program
Yeah.
which I need to execute, and I know you should believe I should execute this, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Okay, the distance measuring from the refrigerator down to the front. So I'm going to break all the brancas that are there.
Okay.
I'm going to break it down.
Yeah.
Break down everyone that's there because you know one failed already, right?
Mhm.
So gather up the mole on one side and use some of the thing for me and mix it on the ground like how you mix concrete. Mix it on the ground,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to build over, but I'm going to build using telephone poles.
Okay.
So as to get some telephone poles or pillars, and that's going to be a long time there.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Right.
And then you wouldn't have to put the amount of brace that you have to put on the foot for it to right. So we built it and we built it straight back up. So we built it one, but maybe a little bit wider.
Wider. Okay.
And build it straight back up. And yeah. So I have spoken to a friend of mine to see if he can find some telephone poles for me, and he just sent me a message asking me about the length. So once I'm able to sort that out, then we'll build it over, and then we'll be able to say, okay, fine, this is how we're gonna do it then.
Okay.
Good.
I got some more waiting for you. So
You got more waiting for me.
yeah.
Somebody just gave me a bit of news there that's really, really nice. Let me tell that person. At the time of the cricket last evening, I was sleeping. It was Dougal's turn to control and to deal with the cricket. So he said, what do you think about the win last night by the Windies? I think if there was more runs, they would find themselves in trouble. What do you think, my friend? My friend, I don't know. I can't tell you. I was sleeping. And this is what happened, is that I went to sleep around about 5:30 thereabouts, JD.
Yeah.
And I woke up at around 1 o'clock. So that was my problem this morning. Because by the time I drifted back to sleep, that was so I know exactly what the problem was. So aren't you going to say good morning to the folks on social media? Those
Good morning.
who
Very
are
good
viewing
morning.
you, those who are viewing you
Are we getting me as program?
Well, no, actually, from me this morning, we should be having two persons joining us via Zoom. Nabi is going to come. Nabi is going to come and
All right.
bring up that conversation. We would have a lot of people to to speak to this
So let
morning.
me give them
Rainy Carrot, who is nice this morning. So says Phyllis Matheson. Good morning to you, Phyllis. Norma Roberts, good morning to you. And Glenn Charles. Oh, Glenn, you're late this morning. Okay, everybody's late too.
Morning, Phyllis. I haven't seen her for quite a while.
Who's Phyllis?
Madison.
Oh, you know her?
Yeah, man.
I don't know her.
No, yeah,
She's saying good morning,
I know
though.
the family. Yeah. The
Oh,
mom, I know. That's a big. I know mom.
you know her?
Madison and the what do you call them? The Mills. People we are very acquainted.
Okay.
The Mills
Matheson and the Mill.
and the Mills, yeah. Very progressive.
So you really, you know, well, yeah, whatever. A lot of people, most people know Kim.
Mhm.
Kim is a Mill,
Yeah.
and Dan Juma is a Mills.
Yeah. I know.
He's the one who
Station.
no, Kim is the one at the radio station.
Kim.
Dan Juma is the one with the hotel and the supermarket.
Danjuma. What is his name?
Oh boy,
That's the one I'm familiar with.
that's the one you're
The one
familiar with.
who runs the hotel.
The
supermarket.
hotel and supermarket downstairs.
Yeah.
What is his correct name? Oh no, but I know he's Dan Juma. He sings Calypso.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got people there. Okay, so JD, we have people from the Ministry of Agriculture. They are on our Zoom link. Can you share the Zoom link there? Are you that good? So you could
But then I
you don't know what
cross-thread.
cross thread? So couldn't you join the meeting? You can join the meeting also and attempt to share, couldn't you? Come on, I have to teach you how to do things. So why do I always have to teach you how to do things? You're supposed to be smart. I trained you to be smart. Did I not? I trained you to be smart. Come on, kiddo.
I gotta get video here
Why?
because the video, the camera is already being utilized for the StreamYard, the live.
No, but what I'm saying is that couldn't you send the Zoom link, the Zoom thingy inside of the
But he doesn't have his
So he's only one person there? His name is Chris Mills.
That's what you heard. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
I just wrote
Phyllis
it.
just sent it.
I just wrote it.
Phyllis is right there.
I just wrote it
Chris
on the
Mills.
paper there.
So we can't do it, no?
You can do it this way.
Which way?
You can do it this way.
Whichever way you want to do it, my dear, you are the genius, right? See, I did elevate you to the level of genius. Aren't you going to laugh at that?
Wow.
But there you go.
So there it
There.
is.
Right. Share it.
Do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what's happening here.
Well, there's nothing.
Because he doesn't have on his camera on.
So tell him put on his camera. He should know how to do
He's
that.
hearing you.
He's
I
hearing
don't
me.
know how
So
he's
tell him put
hearing
on his camera. I have on my camera. He can't be black like that. So put on the camera, kiddo. I don't even know who I'm talking to this morning, you know.
you.
Huh? And my phone is down. Everything is. This morning is a pure, not a disaster, but you know what? Let me start the conversation with them while you. No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You can't. Okay, so then put me back where I'm supposed to be and take out that thing there. And let me start the conversation with the guys, myself and JD. We'll be talking agriculture this morning with some folks on the Ministry for Agriculture. I've got my notepad. Yes, see, notepad, pen. Okay. I need some paper.
He's gonna hear it double.
He's hearing me now, ain't it?
Yeah, but he's gonna hear it double. So let me,
No, you don't need for him to hear it double.
let me do this.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need for him to hear it double. You need only singular. All right. Okay, so I'm getting some paper from JD. Thanks, JD. Right, good. So we ready to get in now? Okay. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? Hello? Good morning.
Morning, are you speaking to me?
Yes, I'm speaking to you, sir. Mr. Trevor Thompson.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, Trevor Thompson from the Ministry of Agriculture. Good morning, and how are you doing this morning, Mr. Thompson?
Morning, I'm doing okay.
Well, nice to have you, nice to hear you. And I'm supposed to be having someone else with you? Or
Yes,
are you going to be alone this morning?
It's supposed to be Mr. Maximus Lazarus.
Mr. Lazarus. So, well, let's continue, and when Mr. Lazarus would join, and then we would be aware, so we'd be able to accommodate him. Okay. Hello.
Yes, that's okay. That's okay with me. I mean,
Right.
you're a little bit early, but that's okay.
All right, Mr. Thompson. Good morning again, and tell me, which department of the Ministry for Agriculture do you work, sir?
I'm working with the land use division.
The Land Use Division. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, as you say, Land Use Division. Explain to us, what does that mean in English?
Okay, well, the functions of the department are varied. It extends into a lot of uh, dealing with the issues of land and its proper management, and that's agricultural and other lands. So we are a technical unit. We are the Geographical Information Systems, or what we call GIS repository for the state. So we have a lot of the topographic and soils and roads and rivers networks, etc. We have all that in a digital format, and along with a lot of the climate data collection, so rainfall, temperature, humidity, wind speed, wind direction, etc. We have a hydrometric network established on the island in Carriacou, Martin. So we collect a lot of the climate-related data, which we know we combine to give a sort of perspective on land suitability, land capability, meaning which are the areas that are best suited for crops, and for other uses. So a lot of other departments within government come to us for data. Even we sell a lot of the data to private consultants or people doing investment projects, etc., that need those kinds of information. For example, maybe soil information or geology information, to help them to do the design or the drainage or the roads, etc., because you need to know rainfall data. You may need to know the flow in the river, that you can design the bridges properly, etc. So that, in a synopsis, is what we do. We support agronomy, extension, physical planning, Ministry of Works, tourism, forestry, private sector, NASA, a lot of agencies and organizations make use of our.
Okay. Now, a bit of fun here, Mr. Thompson. You said GIS, and I was thinking, GIS was only Government Information Service. Didn't realize that agriculture had their own GIS too.
Yep.
All right.
Because every place on the island has a geographical position, a latitude and a longitude position, and so every parcel of land has a geographical location. So basically, what you capture that information, and then you can plan what you want to do with that piece of land based on the soils, on the slopes. You understand? On you can look at its fertility, you can look at its geology, etc. Then you could make the right decisions on what is best how best to manage that piece of land and also the soil.
Based on what you said, it gives me the impression here, Mr. Thompson, that most, if not all, engineers who are getting ready to design a building, to put down a building, contractors ready to do something like that, they should be coming to you for information in relation to that plot of land, correct?
Okay. So for example, sometimes people they want to build a house, they want a topography of the land, or maybe a contour map to show the slopes, etc., to know where to cut, where to fill. So before they would rely on a surveyor, now we can provide that data to them, because we have it at 5 centimeter intervals. So we could provide that data to them. Of course, there's a cost for it. we sell it at 80 cents per kilobyte.
Okay. The other question that begs to be asked here: persons wanting to put down a structure, is it compulsory that they get that information? Maybe not get it from you, but is it compulsory that they get that information, or they just get the information because they believe it's the correct thing to do?
Well, I can tell you, we've had a lot of homeowners, and based on the size of the project, etc., we work very closely with physical planning. So to provide them with, for example, if it's a big project that needs an EIA, we would work very closely to evaluate the lands, the environment, etc., to determine what measures need to be put in place. For homeowners, we have provided certain information to homeowners who are going to build. Maybe they have some concerns about the soil, about land slippage, land subsidence, etc. So some have come in for that kind of detail. It's not compulsory, but I think in the engineer who is working with them, in his judgment, he may request additional data on the soils. What type of soil is it? Is it a soil that is susceptible to landslides or land slippage, or is it a stable soil? Those kinds of information. What is the foundation? Is it what kind of rocks is it? Is it sedimentary? Is it igneous, metamorphic, etc.? So that information is, and I will say to you that going forward, that information will become more and more important, because I think financial institutions, etc., may begin to request that kind of information. And because also Grenada is a very small island, it's about 78,000 acres with a tree island. Land is becoming a very scarce commodity, and management of land will become more and more important. So the draft land policy speaks directly to that. Going forward, there will be an agency to look at land and its management. It's not going to see that a parcel of land cannot be used for a specific purpose, but what it will say, yes, you want to do this on this parcel of land, but these are the management regimes or practices of implement, so that there is no destruction of other people's property, and also that the land is preserved for both present and future generations. So, for example, your land may be on the coast, and it may have some mangroves, etc. And you say, okay, well, I want to cut a path from my right to the sea. I want to see you say to you, if you want to do that, then these are the things you need to do to ensure that, one, your neighbors isn't disenfranchised, or it doesn't cause any damage to them. And most of the time, what you'll find is that the cost to do that will become very prohibitive. Right? So soil data is important. I think when you're going to build, what you're building on, what you're building on is important. What kind of soil. If it's just a wooden structure, that's a totally different matter to a concrete structure. So the foundation, so that helps to determine what types of foundation you would put there, and that means, and based on the type of foundation, if you don't have the money, then you will have to reconsider the structure, size, etc.
All right. I like another gentleman here in studio with me, so he will chime in from time to time. And I have a couple questions for you, but he has a question that he would like to pop at you, Mr. Thompson. JD?
Thompson, good morning, JD.
Morning, sir.
To you, but before you me as farmer, I just okay. All right. It's in agriculture, in particular irrigation. Can you give us some outline on that?
Okay. Well, the land use division also has an irrigation management unit. We provide technical support to farmers with regards to irrigation systems. We assess the assessment of the plots of land, and we will, based on water availability, because if you don't have water, you can't think about irrigation really. Then we look at the quantity of water available, the size of land you want to irrigate, and then we determine our technical work to determine what type of irrigation system is best, And in fact, I would say that the ministry's position is that drip irrigation is the most efficient, most climate smart agricultural irrigation type we can use on the island. So we discourage overhead sprinklers, which encourage wastage of water, disease, spread of disease, weed growth, etc. So it's more costly just in cost of to install it, and then in its management. And then we would provide you with that list of the equipment you need. If it's an acre, if it's a half acre, quarter acre, size pump you need to be able to use irrigation for crop production. In the past, there were programs where the ministry provided equipment, but that has come to an end a few years ago. So we just provided technical support in those areas, assessing, designing, and providing you with a list of equipment. And if you want, once you install it, we will provide some technical support to supervise to ensure that the equipment is installed in the right way.
All right. What about the spray tube? Because it's better about the drip lines and the sprinklers. What about the spray tubes? Is that recommended?
No, because it's a very inefficient method of irrigating, and it's not suitable for, because of we have a lot of clay and loam soil things in it. It's not the best type of irrigation system to use. I mean, basically, you once you turn on your line, your tap or your pump, you don't have control of where the water, how much of it flows, because it's just a hose with punctures in it. When you're using the drip irrigation system, it's each emitter where the water comes out is calibrated to give you a certain amount of flow per minute of liters per second, gallons per minute or whatever. So you know how much water you're utilizing. With the other spray hose, you have no control over that, and that is very inefficient, and it encourages a lot of weed growth. So and it means that you have to spend more money for weeding or managing your plot. It won't encourage chemical use of chemicals for weed control. But some farmers, if we have to use more chemicals in,
Right.
All right. What you said there brings this other question. So it will be very important, or it is very important that before a farmer decides, okay, fine, you know what, I want to irrigate this plot of land, that he maybe should get in contact with the Ministry of Agriculture, and they should sit with him, stand with him, whatever, and advise him as to the best type of irrigation to do in that particular area, correct?
Correct, because irrigating on slope is totally different to irrigating on flat land, and because Grenada, we less than 10% flat land. A lot of our farmers, they need some technical support in terms of determining what type of system you use, and also the pump. A lot of farmers want to buy a pump first, and then they say, "Oh, I want to irrigate." The pump is the last thing you decide on. You decide on irrigation system, because you need to know your distance from your water source, what quantity of lines you want to take that water from the source to the farm, and then also to distribute it on the farm, and then based on the size of the farm, how much meters or feet of drip lines you would need, or how much micro sprinklers you would need. And once you do that calculation, you determine what amount of water you need to operate this system efficiently. Then you will do the calculation to determine what size pump is required to push that water to get to distribute it to the crops. And of course, you don't want to select a pump that will that have to run at its maximum, or you want a pump to function optimally where it can do the work, but it's not stressed. The engine isn't over rev, that its lifespan is short. So a lot of times a lot of times farmers can, I would say, some of them become frustrated because the system isn't working as it should, because there is some problem with the design. Other times we see farmers also, there is a wrong concept, I would say, that a lot of them think that you can pump, you can go from a 2-inch line to a half-inch line in 20 feet. You know, it's like trying to pour I would say, a 5-gallon bucket of water into a hose, but they think that they will get more pressure, which is wrong. You won't get more pressure if you trying to push water into a smaller line. The bigger the line is, the more volume and pressure you will end up with. And also we have some farmers the water sources sometimes are quite a distance, a mile, you know, over 5,000 feet from the water source, and they think that you know, it's going to cost you money if you're going to be having to take water from a long distance. And then the final thing I want to say on that is that sometimes some farmers think that they can put the pump far away from the water source. The maximum amount of feet you can put a pump from the water source, from the stream where you're taking that water, is 20, I would say 26 feet, because of gravitational pull. The pump will not pull that to suck that water for further than that, and it will also damage the impeller. Right. So there are quite a few technical things that you when you go to the farm, you will explain to the farmer why this should be like this, why you need to do this. And sometimes some do not consult, and then they frustrate themselves. And after the fact, after they've invested money, they will call them and say, I'm having problems, etc. How could you help?
We take a break, Mr. Thompson, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent, perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines. Yet suitable for your hand wash, soft on your hands. Ozone disinfectant cleaner is the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Tackles every job around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural freshness, keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents: soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with the Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes lime scale and kills germs while giving your toilet a refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequente St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
Looking for quality, a peace of mind, and reliability? Are you building a home or simply doing quality construction? Make one stop and let that be at M&N Hardware. We know what it takes to get the job done, and we deliver. Our goal is to ensure that every customer is completely satisfied. We cater to your needs from foundation to roof. M&N Hardware does it best. We provide first-class resistance to scratching and fading with our Hope Royal Roofing, located along the Hope Main Road in St. Andrew and a dusty highway in St. George. We are waiting to fulfill your needs. M&N Hardware. Call us at our St. Andrew location on 444-6757 and at Dusty Highway on 440-6757. We'll be there for you. M&N Hardware. Trusted. It's the best.
Kites are fun to fly and fun to make, but please keep them away from power lines. If your kite becomes entangled with the power lines, don't attempt to free it. It is extremely dangerous and you can get an electric shock and may even die. Call our phone line at 237 if you want it, and we'll be happy to assist. Happy Easter, and remember, stay away from power lines.
Grenada, energize our Grenada. Get on making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch game with 4 chances to win. Keep the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an A symbol, and just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win the top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
It's cricket, lovely cricket. International cricket is back in the Caribbean with our Maroon battling Sri Lanka in 2020's 3-1 the internationals and 2 tests in Antigua. Excitement is in the air with the return of Universe Boss, Chris Gill, Speedster, Fidel Edwards, and Grenada's very own Andrew Fletcher, all selected to play the Sri Lankan Tour of the Caribbean, runs from March 3rd to April 2nd. Join us here at Read FM as we bring you cricket at its best. And let's rally around the West Indies.
Yes. I told you. It's the number one. It's the number one. Oh, yeah.
Morning, folks in Greater Caribbean, Martinique, again, and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. And those of you who are viewing wherever you are, thanks once again for joining us via our Facebook, our YouTube, and also via our website. That's where we have viewers. Now, you probably would have seen the viewers. The viewers are having the time of their life because I was chatting with Nabi and they would have seen my hand flying in all kinds of directions, even talking to JD at the same time. And they probably wondering what craziness is happening in the studio today. JD, I must say, everybody's fascinated this morning by your orange shirt. They like your orange shirt. Everybody's going crazy. I don't know why, but people are going crazy over your orange shirt. So as they say, you get through. But we have Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, you're there, sir. Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm here.
For a minute there, I thought that you would have left us. JD has another question for you.
We are touch on that section as your final issue, but I really talk about that. A lot of people don't have the knowledge as to the suction and the distance from the water to the pump. Just only yesterday I was speaking to somebody about that. And another thing that people deny about is the head. When they give you the head in distance, what does that really mean? To buy a pump, that's the head. You know, but other people do not have the clear understanding of if it's in the height the water could go, you could pump it up, or what does that really means?
Two things. The suction hose is extremely important in your pump because it's what is taking the water from the stream. So if it's not attached to the pump properly, your pump will not function properly, and your impeller will be damaged in a very, very short time. Because when I've seen farmers attach their suction hose by putting it in fire and then pushing it onto the intake of the pump. That's a no-no, because once a pump can suck air, once air can pass through, then the impeller you will have that pump will last you 6 months or 5 months and it's finished. The impeller will be damaged by cavitation where because it spins at 3,600 revolutions per minute. You could imagine a bubble of air hitting that would what damage it will do. So what you're supposed to do is supposed to push yourself, light up a fire, put a pot on the fire, and put the suction hose. And when the water starts to boil, you put the suction hose in there. It gets hot. It will expand. You push it in onto your intake, and then you attach your clamp.
Yeah,
when it cools, it will seal. Then the foot valve is extremely important. Why? Because it is a source of want to keep the pressure on the pump. When you shut off the pump, the hose remains filled, no air gets in there that could damage the pump, and also it keeps debris out, like small stones and gravels, etc., from going into the pump. And then the head is extremely important because that is what determines the capacity of the pump. The head is basically talking about how far that pump could push that water if from the ground straight up into the air. That is basically what a head is. So when normally based on the slope of your land where you want to farm, when we look at the elevation from your water source, the change in elevation from the water source to the top of the farm, the farthest point you want to push that water up the slope. When we see the difference between those two heights, we will know what is the head. That's the minimum head that the pump needs to be able to push that water. Because then it has to look at friction loss in the line. Meaning when that water is flowing in the line, it it faces pressure, obstruction of the, so we have to calculate the friction loss. And then when it's distributing that water into the lines, so for this to the sprinkler, and then the sprinkler requires some amount of pressure to turn to get it to distribute that water as it should, in the droplet size that it should. You have to calculate all of that to determine the final head of it. So so sometimes we say we want the head to be 100 feet, or to be 80 feet, because that's how much the change in height of the elevation and the pressure that the pump finally has to push that water. So that's extremely important.
Okay. My final question on that is, how far can you push water from the area, like the pump? How far can you push water?
Well, it all depends, as I said, on the head and and the capacity of that pump. I mean, you could push the water a mile away. If you have a big enough pump, you could push it 2 miles away. I mean, once and then the size of your lines. So, for example, for if you want to take a pump, let's say with 150 feet, we would recommend 2-inch or 3-inch. So that's why if you look at it, the bigger the pump, you would see the size of the outlet is bigger. So for a pump that can do, let's say, 80 feet, you would see a 2-inch outlet. Anything goes over 150 feet, you would see a 3-inch or a 4-inch outlet, because the size of the line is also important. So that's why when we tell a farmer, you need to use a 3-inch line on the farm, to at least to bring the water to the top, right. And then you can bring it down to a 2-inch, etc. Because that helps with your pressure.
Okay. I need to ask you a question here, because it popped up while I was on a break, and it had to do with something that you mentioned at first, and it had to do with the information that engineers and contractors should be seeking from your department before they get into any sort of a development. Am I correct along those lines? Did you say that?
Well, support physical planning in the process.
Okay, great. No, the question makes to be asked there because it shoots up. It is something that is topical at this particular point in time. That issue in St. David, did your department have anything to do with that?
That's the Last Address project?
The Last Address project, correct.
Range project?
Yes.
Yes. Land use division has been providing technical advice.
I lost you there a bit. Hello, Mr. Thompson. I lost you when you said land.
Yes.
I lost you there a bit when you said land use division.
I said yes. Yes, the land use division has been providing technical support to physical planning, along with other agencies, departments in the ministry, in the public service, so that the developer adheres to all of the laws and regulations concerning that area, and also so that to ensure that they adhere to the mitigation measures that the environmental assessment required. Right. So there's I would say from because I have read the project document, I've looked at the designs, etc., and the different phases of the work that is ongoing. Just from a technical perspective, there is a lot of what I would call misunderstanding of what will happen in different phases of the project. So, for example, the developer requested to clear certain amount of certain lands. We said to him, no, that's not permitted. He requested we forbade him from removing certain size trees on the property, right? And because we have a overview of what project entails and what different phases will happen, we monitor. We do very frequent site visits to ensure that they are adhering to everything that is required by us to be done, and also that they say that they will do in order to adhere to environmental standards. So I must say, however, that when the project just started, there was some activities there that was not what was agreed to. And I want to say, from my assessment and judgment and our thing, the developer was not the one responsible. The subcontractor who was clearing the line is the one who went and did things that were not permitted. And so that's why going forward, we have even requested that in all subcontracts, all of the mitigation measures that has to be adhered to for that project will be must be in the contracts with all the subcontractors, that they know what is required and they know what is not required, what they must do, what they cannot do, and if they break it, there will be penalties. So I think over the years, what has happened is that a lot of projects go ahead and the developers or the subcontractors have not been communicating with the public. There has been very poor PR, and I hope going forward you will see more good PR with projects, so the public will understand what is happening. You know, people see things happening in an engineering phase of the project and then at the end you see the whole project and you say, wow, look at that. But when it's going on now, you can't see it because you can't see the finished product. You can only see what is happening with the clearing, the filling, the cutting, etc. But at the end, when everything is finished, we think that the project will adhere to the standards that is required from an environmental perspective, and protecting the heritage, the cultural heritage, the cultural landmarks, etc. That in that area that is being developed. All right, that's just giving you a technical perspective.
All right. So from where you stand, where you sit, Mr. Thompson, before we include Mr. Maximus in the conversation, he's just joined us. But from where you sit, where you stand, Mr. Thompson, are you comfortable with what is happening from a Grenadian perspective? Put it this way: you're a Grenadian, you want the best for your country. Are you comfortable with that project?
Wilson, come on here.
I would say that I'm not 100% satisfied because there are some things that were done in the initial stage.
Yes.
That has to be fixed. Has to be fixed now. With some engineering and we have made that clear to the developer that so he will not get permission to do certain things unless he does what is agreed to, and he will not get permission to do certain things at all because of the nature of the public access, etc. We fully bear that in mind that what the law says towards that, etc. Of course, you have private property involved, so the public has to understand that also. And as I said in the beginning, that is some of the challenges we as a nation face because we are small. We need to develop in certain areas. There needs to be investment. The government cannot employ every Grenadian, so there has to be public investment, private investment, etc. And it's a real balancing act. That's why I would encourage all Grenadians to read the draft land policy because it has some very, very, very I would say revolutionary thinking recommendations on the way forward for us as a nation that has very, very limited lands, and we must do a very good balancing act between what is allowed, how it's allowed, how it's done, and still we can enjoy a good quality of land, etc. So yes. It's a challenge that we as a nation has to face. But I think Grenadians are resilient enough to understand that there are going to be people who are going to be invested in lands that for some of it is abandoned, it's idle, etc., and could be developed, could provide opportunities for Canadians to be employed, etc., etc. But it's how it's done, and what we seek to do is make the project better for us environmentally. I think that is the thing that I think most of the technical officers are concerned with, that at the end of it, it's not going to be a disaster for us, but it's going to be something that is even better than what the developer came with an idea and we say, no, we think if you do this, it will be a better project. sustainably, more sustainable for the environment, sustainable for creation.
Mr. Thompson, I want to thank you so very much for your contribution with us this morning. And I can say this to you. I would want to believe that Miss Booker would allow us to speak to you again because you have a wealth of information that I believe Grenadians can benefit from. So as I say goodbye to you this morning, I'm going to take a commercial break after you, and then I'm going to bring in Mr. Maximus. I'm going to leave you to go and do the duties of the government before your PS says, hey, what's up, Richard? You're not working this morning?
All right, no problem. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. It's real. It's 91.9, 91.5, www.realfmgrenada.com. Of course, you're viewing us on our YouTube page. You're also viewing us via Facebook and via our website. We thank all of you so very much this morning. We take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Mr. Maximus, also from the Ministry for Agriculture. Stay with us.
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent, perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines, yet suitable for your hand wash, soft on your hands. Ozone disinfectant cleaner is the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Tackles every job around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural freshness. Keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents: soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with the Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes lime scale and kills germs while giving your toilet a refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequency St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
Looking for quality, a peace of mind, and reliability? Are you building a home or simply doing quality construction? Make one stop and let that be at Eminent Hardware. We know what it takes to get the job done, and we deliver. Our goal is to ensure that every customer is completely satisfied. We cater to your needs from foundation to roof. Eminent Hardware does it best. We provide frost crack resistance to scratching and fading with our Hope Royal Roofing, located along the Hope Main Road in St. Andrew and at Dusty Highway in St. George. We are waiting to fulfill your needs. Eminent Hardware. Call us at our St. Andrew location on 444-6757 and at Dusty Highway on 440-6757. We'll be there for you. Eminent Hardware. Trusted with the best.
Kites are fun to fly and fun to make, but please keep them away from power lines. If your kite becomes entangled with the power lines, don't attempt to free it. It is extremely dangerous and you can get an electric shock and may even die. Call our fault line at 237 to report it and we'll be happy to assist. Happy Easter, and remember, stay away from power lines.
Grenadian, energizing our Grenada. Get high making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch Game with 4 chances to win. Beat the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an ace symbol. And just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win a top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
It's cricket, lovely cricket. International cricket is back in the Caribbean with our men in maroon battling Sri Lanka in 3T20s, 3 one-day internationals, and 2 tests in Antigua. Excitement is in the air with the return of Universe Boss, Chris Gill, Spitster, Fidel Edwards, and Grenada's very own Andrea Fletcher, all selected to play the Sri Lanka Tour of the Caribbean, run from March 3rd to April 2nd. Join us here at Real FM as we bring you cricket at its best. And let's rally around the West Indies.
Rally around the West Indies. Yeah. I'm calling number one. Number one. Yes, number one. Oh yeah, the number one. It's the number one.
It is real. It's 91.9, 91.5, www.trealfmgrenada.com. Andrew Donald, with JD, of course. We've just been joined by a good friend and our brother in time. PJ, what's up? How you doing?
Morning, Andre. Morning to Judy. Morning to the
Morning,
listening
morning.
public. I'm doing fine. We're having some nice showers outside.
Here we are. And we had some good fertilizer dropped on the inside from Mr. Thompson.
Yes, I heard him. Heard him this morning.
Very good.
As always, we have brilliant people in the Ministry of
Brilliant people,
Agriculture,
you know, and
capable people.
Mhm.
I do have a problem with the way they organize themselves and the way they execute, but in terms of the quality of personnel, we have some of the brilliant minds.
You know, and I was disappointed in one thing, in that the government information service, you have that guy just downstairs from you, and you're not using that gentleman. That gentleman has a lot of information to give to Marina. I don't have time. When I say I don't have time, the amount of time I give to agriculture, I'll have to give him like about 10 weeks
Exactly.
before I can exhaust him. And they have the time.
Before you can catch up with him.
Yeah. Man.
Huh?
I've got Mr. Maximus Lazarus. Do you?
Yes, Andre.
I've got one line. So let's say you need to put on your headphones, BJ. Mr. Maximus Lazarus, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Andrew Donald, and good morning to your friend BJ.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, boss.
How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thanks, and you?
Oh, I'm good, and I think you get some good scores this morning.
Very much so. And
Welcome
I guess we are blessed to have you also this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Capable.
Mr. Donald, good morning to your listening audience.
But Mr. Lazarus, I kind of ventured you. Me at bringing you talking to BJ before you talk to me. Like, what? Hey, what can I do that?
Farmers are farmers.
Farmers are farmers.
No, farmers. You have a good friend from way back when.
Yes. Mr. Maximus Lazarus. Where are you from exactly? Where are you from in Grenada?
I'm from Paradise, St. Andrew.
Are you from Paradise? From right here? Where are you from? Our neck of the woods, man. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the intellectuals from the rural community.
Definitely.
Definitely so. Mr. Lazarus, which department of the Ministry of Agriculture do you work, sir?
I work in Eastern Agricultural Extension.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm involved in Eastern Agricultural District.
The Eastern Agricultural District. Now tell me,
Agricultural District.
What do you do as in relation to agricultural extension? What do you do? What does that job entail?
Well, Mr. Donald, I'll put it to you very simple, right? We as human people, we get sick, right?
Yes.
But when we sick, we could visit the doctor. And the doctor prescribes for us medicine. Plants do get sick too. But unlike human beings, plants cannot go to the doctor. So there are times when human beings get sick and they cannot go to the doctor. You just have to come to them. You follow me?
I get you. Love it.
Basically, extension work is like you are plant doctor. The plant cannot go to the doctor, so the doctor comes to the plant. So basically, I'm involved in an extension work, visiting farmers, advising them in production, agronomy, pest and disease control, soil and water conservation, and a whole host of other things that could assist them in doing a more scientific, sustainable agriculture that would increase the standard of living. So in a nutshell, basically that is what it is about.
How long have you been an extension officer or plant doctor for that matter? Let's elevate it.
About 35 years.
Wow, that's a lot of years, sir. That's a lot of years. Now, what did you say? Looking at extension, at what you do, and I only want to speak to you about the Eastern District because I wouldn't want to spread you to Northern or to Western District. I only want to speak to you about Eastern District.
But I'm familiar with Northern District. You know?
Yeah, but
I've worked in Northern.
You have worked there before.
Yeah, I've worked in audit for a while. Yeah, twice.
Twice. So let me ask you this question then. When you sit back or you stand up and you look out and you take a panoramic view of things, what would you come up with in relation to the state of our planet life in this country or in the area that you're familiar with?
Well, we have done quite a lot because you look at the banana industry, but that is down now. But you look at a lot of the source of industry, one of the industry that has been elevated in recent times. A lot of the progress that has been made in that area is through extension. Because in the past we had source up as a crop just as a backyard crop. But now where it has become more commercial, you have all the agronomic practices going into it that will get sustainable, marketable, free from pests and disease. So extension has a lot of input in that. Well, BJ will remember the hot pepper project. That was a project when Grenada used to export hot peppers to the US. And again, extension, we had a program with carrots where we introduced a number of new varieties of carrots to the country, Royal Cross. And and we did a lot of work in this area. But I must say that it's a continuous process. So while a lot of work has been done, much more needs to be continued. And especially in these COVID times, we have a number of people, because of this situation, joining the profession of agriculture, and basically joining with a clean slate. So extension has a real role to play in terms of enhancing proper techniques, the proper management of pests and disease, and so forth.
What would you say are the most frequent requests you get as an extension officer?
Well, I can't put it down to one, but I say some of the major requests is that of the issue of pest and disease, the issue of previous larceny, the issue of crop management, and these kind of things. So these are basically the three pests and disease, especially nowadays with also being a commercial crop. You have people with the blight, you have issues with the vehicles in the source, you have issues with a number of issues. Then the issue of predator, stray animals, these are some of the burning issues in agriculture.
Pests and diseases. What would you say are some of the most common pests that farmers faced in this country now in relation to some different projects like plums, like sauce-up, as you've just spoken to, and I realized that some banana trees are sort of looking not as very healthy as they used to look. What can you tell us about those?
Okay, well, in terms of pests, I like to sectionize them. I'll heat say vegetables. And when you look at vegetables, some of the major pests of vegetables you have white flies. In terms of the melons and things, you have the palm trees, the pickles, in the terms of the peppers, you have something called the flower moth. But what I want to emphasize, Andrew, is that like us, we have environment we should thrive best in, right? Like when you go to bed at night, you do not want your bed to be wet. Similarly, pests and diseases have environments we just thrive best. And what we try to get farmers to understand is that if you reduce the environment for the pests, you make it, because most time farmers think about controlling pests, chemicals, pesticides, and nowadays you're talking about organic farming and to be health conscious. The consumer wants to produce that wants to have less pesticide and less contaminants. So one of the things we have to understand is that every pest has an environment in which it thrives best. Like over the last few weeks, we have experienced some very severe dry conditions. And I've been advising high farmers to avoid planting crops like cabbages and crockery, formerly crops like cabbages, cauliflower, in the low-lying areas. Areas like Falls, even Libera,
ribbon twine, telescope products. These are dry, low areas. So if you avoid planting crops like cabbages and cauliflower and eggplants, which these crops are real host, whiteflies like them. You creating if you plant them in these dry areas, basically you make the environment conducive for the pest whiteflies. So what would be better to do? Choose a crop that the whiteflies is not favorable for, and let the farmers in the higher benders, the mountain areas, cooler areas, where whiteflies doesn't strike so good, concentrate on cabbages. And then in the latter part of the year, when we start experiencing a lot of rain, you come back with the brussels, the cauliflowers and cabbages and things. And then you have a lot of rain, and then the white fly doesn't like the bodies to be wet. So my issue in managing pests and disease is just to understand the environment under which the pests and disease thrive and create an environment that is not suitable for them. And then you reduce the use of pesticide.
BJ, your question for you.
Tell me.
Maxi, don't you think, based on what Trevor said this morning and based on what you are saying now, don't you think the better approach should be to zone our agriculture?
Definitely.
Like for example,
the environment we live in it will take a lot of regulation and government control because we basically function in a free enterprise.
well,
In a free enterprise.
well, I could understand that,
So,
Maxi,
yeah.
but what seems to be happening is that here we are in the low-lying areas where we don't want certain disease to more or less, amplify themselves. We sort of are still planting the crops that is not ideally suited for those areas based on, factors that you are saying. So to me, like in some countries, you will find that they designate certain areas for vegetables, certain areas for tree crops, certain areas for you're right. And it seems to work out, it seems to be working out very fine because what seems to be happening, there seems to be an over usage of pesticides, chemicals to fight those
Definitely.
diseases. And then because some of those areas are low lying, those things end up in the sea and the rivers and the lakes and and the effect that they have in the adverse effect they having on the environment. It's not good for our country, it's not good for the world.
Mhm.
So back
So
to
I
you.
said, BJ, that we should zone our areas. Like BJ, you remember one time we had pest cabbages that called um, the this song is those pests probably holds a lot of
Yeah.
diamond
I'm
moth,
about
the
once.
cabbages, the diamond black moth.
Mm,
You remember that, BJ?
very much so. They still exist, not as prevalent as before, but they still exist.
Yes, but one of the things that has reduced the population is that farmers in the lower lying areas, the hot, dry areas, realize that it's virtually impossible to grow cabbages in these areas.
Yep.
But I agree with you that we should zone our areas. But I think the same land exhibitor, Mr. Trevor Thompson, there is a map that we prepared that shows the best location for growing all crops based on the zonal area that you're talking about. But it's just a matter of implementing it as a policy.
Well, that's the problem we seem to be having implementation.
Yeah.
As I was saying, that we have some brilliant minds in agriculture from the ministry standpoint. However, in order to get the policies, in order to execute properly, seems to have issues there. We seems to have it on paper, but the actual implementation seems to be
Implementation.
taking forever. And I keep wondering why. And then we still turn back and complain. It's like we're devouring our own selves. We know what to, we don't shut our ideas, but we're not executing. We're not implementing.
All right. Final question from JD, and then I have a couple for you, and then we're gonna wrap Mr. Lazarus. JD, what is it?
Mr. Zeros, you said about the crops in the low-lying areas. What crops would you recommend that at this point in time must be planted in the low-lying areas?
That's for the low lying areas?
Yes. at this time. Yeah.
Well, to me, it's the perfect time for your vine crops, your melon, your cantaloupe, your pumpkins, your cucumbers, and this kind of thing. You could even do a lot of your peppers, yeah, your carrots. Carrots is one of the major crops to corn because there are few pests and things that affects carrots. Then you corn again, and not only in terms of the growing the crop for the location, but in terms of a form of rotation. So that when you come back with the cabbages and then later on in the year, you will not have a buildup of white flies and this kind of thing. So the crops farmers should be concentrating on for the lower lying areas your vine crops, your peppers, your corn. These are the crops that we recommend for this season. Your sweet potatoes, your tubers.
Um, how effective using corn as a border for the other vegetables?
Mm. But it's very effective. And I always advise farmers to grow corn as a border crop because there are very few pests that affects corn as a crop. And because of it, even if you as human being pass through the corn, you have a little hair that scratch and irritate. Pests don't like to pass through the corn. So farmers should always be using corn as a border crop.
Okay, thank you very much, JD. Now, to you, I've got this, Mr. Lazarus. One person wants to know what is the correct fertilizer to use in mountainous areas for cocoa and nutmegs, considering both types of trees are planted side by side. That's what one person wants to know.
Well, okay. I always tell farmers when it comes to fertilizing, you need to know stage the crop is at. If you just plant nutmegs or cocoa, you want to use a high phosphate potash fertilizer, phosphate fertilizer, because that will encourage early root development. But later on, as the crops come, the cocoa and nutmeg comes into production, you want to reduce on your phosphate and use more potash. So it's not a matter of just the name of the crop. Stage the crop is very important. It's just like us. If you have a baby, you take the baby out and give them a big plate of food. The baby needs milk. As the child advances in age, you introduce solid food. So the fertilizer should be concentrating on when you just plant your crop, and that is because just now we started the planting season. You want to use a lot of phosphate and some nitrogen to develop the leaves and to give the root all this stuff. And as the plant matures, you put a lot of what you call your potash fertilizer.
Here's a comment. I have to give you this comment, and I believe you deserve it. And it says here, "Hi, Andre Morning. This is the only extension officer that could come on my farm. When I used to farm in a certain area, Lazarus was the only one who used to come. The rest only coming when the farm nice and green." So that is coming from listening. So I think that's a plus for you, Mr. Lazarus.
Thank you very much, Paula.
Now, you want to say something to me?
Yes, because you see, because I want to say something about soil management before it. And in managing our soil, I want to say that it should be as sustainable because one of the problems I've had over the years as an extension officer is that farmers not farming the way they really should. Because what we should try to do is to follow what happens in nature in wild. And out in the world, the surface of the soil is always covered. Most of you been able to know that if you travel, because I'm a granular product, if you travel on a rainy day from say Granville towards Granite, you realize by the time you reach the water coming from the river is cocoa brown. And this is our topsoil that's being washed away because the soil surface is not covered. But as you travel to Birch Grove and into the interior, you realize that the water coming from the interior, the forest, tends to be a lot clearer as compared in the lowlands. I'm sure you agree with me.
Well, I would agree 100% because Maximus,
Yeah.
the only way you can be sustainable All right, it's to work in
Yes,
conjunction. It's to work together with nature. When you go
definitely,
outside of that and want to do your own thing, you will be eventually destroyed by nature itself. That's the rule.
definitely,
If you don't look after it properly, that thing will wash you out. And that's what you see happening.
definitely.
Sometimes all our topsoil is going with little
It's
rain
going
or
up.
hardly rain. Maximus, I don't know if you remember, as a young man growing up, lots of rain used to feel the same way, but you didn't
Yes,
have
yes,
all this topsoil being washed away.
definitely,
Sometimes a lot
definitely.
of rainfall, and your rivers don't turn brown and with a whole heap of sediments and those things because the way
Exactly.
they used to structure the lands before, with all the windbreak and the drains and the
And the
planting and
drain.
the covering of the topsoil, all those things was for very important, agronomical reasons. But
Yes,
these days, a quick fix, you understand what I'm saying?
yes,
And
I
I
understand.
could understand why extension is having serious issues with regard to servicing farmers because people don't care about the environment any longer. It is the
They
dollar
don't care.
sign that see how much money they
And
can
that
make,
was it.
and
We need to farm in a sustainable manner that we
exactly,
could leave our soil for the future generation.
very much
And
so.
even in the lower areas, in the lower belt, where you find a lot of active farming, people not farming properly because sometimes you have a short dry spell and you see a number of trees dying. We could maintain a sustainable production if we keep the soil surface always covered. BJ, in Jamaica, in an area called St. Elizabeth,
Yep, they
you go there and they have to make all these dry
try
farming
filming,
statements.
yeah,
And it's not rocket science. They have this soil under constant mulch. And if you go to visit the granite soil of any forest, what you'll find is basically three layers of soil covering. First layer, leaves that have just fallen to the surface. Underneath, you have a second layer that starts decomposing. And on the third layer, you have things that are fully decomposed and ready to be recycled into the whole ecosystem. What we see, most farmers see this soil as dirty dirt. But I want to say that soil is a living organism. The soil is made up of multi, is a composition of multiple organisms. And we have in the soil, we have the earthworms, we have the millipedes, the centipedes, and a number of the black ants, and a number of different organisms that have their role in the whole ecosystem. And that brings me to the issue of burning. You say that people burning. And when you burn, you destroy all these microorganisms and you create an environment that is not suitable. Our soil is supposed to hold moisture like a sponge. That when you have heavy rain, because of the surface of the soil being clear, you have immediate runoff. But if you farming in a sustainable manner, where you surface of the soil is always covered, what is happening in the first instance, the raindrops that hit the surface of the soil with so much force as to cause erosion. It falls on the covering of the soil, takes its time and filtrates into the soil, and then it holds the moisture as a sponge so that when there is no rain, the same soil releases the moisture to the plant on a gradual basis. So the plant does not feel the effect of the dry season as compared to when you farming with no covering of the soil.
Miss,
Well, Andre,
yeah.
I just want to tell Mr. Maximus that what he's saying there, great food for thought. Because Andre, there are three pillars when it comes to sustainability. All right,
Mhm.
it has to be good for people. All right,
Mhm.
it has to be good for the environment, and it has to make economic sense.
Yeah.
Those are the three pillars. And if you're not farming with those very fundamental aspects in your mind, you are destroying the environment. You are creating issues.
Serious problem.
And young people need to understand that
It's not a quick fix.
it's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix.
The next generation have to do the same land.
Maximus, excuse me. I want to thank you so very much for this moment, and I hope that this is the beginning of something that we'll continue doing, so as to bring information on a continuous basis to our farmers. As BJ just ended there with that one, it is not a quick fix. The generation has to understand it is not a quick fix. Yes, cash crops can bring you quick money, but we have to be able to do it properly so as to sustain not only ourselves, but the future generations. So I'm going to let you go before the PS fires you, and we're going to catch up again.
Okay, then. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Donald, for having me on your program. And I think it was a good opportunity, although it was short, but I really enjoyed being there. And I hope that I'll be back sometime again.
Of course, most definitely you will be back. You're now a member of the family, so you can come back anytime.
All right. I want to thank your listening audience too for listening, and pity we didn't get in much of the questions and comments, but I want to thank them and wish them a good farming for the season coming up.
Okay.
All the best. BJ, take good care.
Take care, boss. Peter.
All right. Great. Good. It's real. It's 91.99.5 www.drealfmgrenada.com. JD, you had your thing. It's March. It's a new month. You had your thingy in relation to the McDonald in dates.
Yeah.
I couldn't let you go without that. So without giving us that information. So give us that, and then we have a call online. Tell us.
March above the ground, we have 3 days: the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd. Above the ground, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd. Below the ground, we have the 7th, the 8th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th. The 7th, 8th, 16th, 17th, and the 18th. That's it.
Repeat that again. Let's go.
Above the ground, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Below the ground, the 7th, 8th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
All right. Thank you so very much for that information. Guys, I tell you what, yeah, I always enjoy Thursday mornings, but this Thursday morning, I'm filled.
Lots of info on
I'm filled that Mr. Thompson, is it?
Trevor Thompson.
Trevor Thompson and Mr. Maximus Lazarus, they really filled me this morning. I feel good. I feel proud of the program
That's
this morning.
That's what good information does, Andre.
Yes. And we have to have
Energize you.
and others who manage agriculture. We need to get agriculture moving on all ends. Do more.
On all fronts.
On all fronts, but on all ends, we need to do all. And the interesting thing is, Mr. Trevor Thompson, he did say that one of the problems is that we are not doing enough PR. That was a statement he made
National problem. Andre.
National problem.
It's not just a individual problem. PR nationally on important things seems to be, stagnant. And I'm saying that if you look upon the old is that has been floating around on social media, it makes you wonder. Those are the things that all play these days, things that do not make sense. Andrew, we have listeners all the way from like Florida. Somebody just sending messages here. I'm saying how much they enjoy the program. One by the name of Faith. Morning, Faith. How are you? Hope all is well. And people listen from all over the world. So if you can provide relevant information that can fill you up, information that can energize you, information that can educate you, it's always better. It reduces speculations.
Here's what Jay, interesting that you spoke of now. This one is for you. Caller, we coming to you. We're gonna take you, but I must give JD this one before I forget. JD, this one is for you. It says, "Good morning, great show this morning. JD must explain border crops. Another program maybe. You need to make it a note. Next week when you come, you're going to explain because you brought up border crops and you spoke of corn being a border crop. You have to speak about what other crops can be used as border crops. So you make your notes and you come with that prepared next week, God's willing. Call good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Andre, and good morning to BJ and I've been really delighted this morning. I really feel delighted. I think you have scored a goal again. Mr. Thompson was very good, excellent. I thought he was clean and he didn't cover anything, left everything exposed. Very good. We need him more often. Mr. Lazar was doing very well. I mean, we were together already, shooting course and whatnot. So I have an understanding of the gentleman's capability and I could tell you that the America have some good extension officers, but it's just a matter that they're not. We don't see that gel together of of extension work or of agricultural work. And based on what Thompson said, I think we really have to educate the farmers more in terms of the philosophy of land use.
Irrigation.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Irrigation.
Irrigation.
Because I can tell you, part of the irrigation thing that he spoke about, I have a little understanding about it because Google Sam was doing irrigation in the early days for Ghana, and we had 3 different pumps waiting at different areas, you know. And what we just about a mile, we had pumps that was waiting bananas more than a mile. So it's on top of his wall. But we need more of those things. We need so that you could follow up. So you get part of that this week, next week you get another part, so you could able to compile.
Yeah.
And I think that is good for farmers. So hats up to the institution for that again, and we need more of it.
Well, we'll continue doing what we're doing, Clifford. We've done it a lot of years, and we just continue
but
doing it.
I think, and you still have to give the minister a little congratulations for that because it seems that if he might getting the officers to come out now and do some OPR, that is needed.
Clifford,
Yeah.
I'd say this was done by Mina Booker.
Well, I know he was spoke to him and he had given some consent.
This is Mina's initiative.
I hear you.
The minister ain't come through yet. When he come through, you must know. He had to come together now.
But let's hope that he will.
Let's hope that he does.
Right. DJ, how are you?
I'm fine. Happy to hear you as always. Every time I'm hearing you, I'm delighted.
Right. How is Kenko going?
Kenko is going great. We are now cultivating another 40 acres of land.
A bottle of rum.
We are manufacturing rum. We are selling rum.
Give me a drink.
Brethren, asking for the inevitable.
Where is my rum?
Andre, it's there.
Well, one thing.
They wanted you to come. Why you cannot come, Clifford? They want.
I don't have transport.
Oh, all right.
If you take me for me, I'll go.
Come and I'll bring you.
Clifford, come and meet Andre, and you find yourself down by the factory, and you will get your samples.
I definitely will try walking that somewhere.
Try walking that.
The reason why I'm not offering people samples, the rum is extremely strong. You're talking about 89%, 88%, 87% improved, and you can actually put it inside of a vehicle and start the engine.
Well, for me, I mean, just for sample the people, because I personally don't drink rum again. I drink the beers.
Yeah, beers. All right, Cliff, thank you.
All right.
It's Realist 91, guys. Thank you so very much, BJ and JD. Thank you again, immensely for a wonderful program this morning. To you, the viewers, we say thank you very much. And join us again tomorrow morning, Friday, God's will. We'll have another program for you right here on Real 91.9, 91.5, www.realfmgrenada.com, Real FM Facebook page, Real FM's YouTube page, YouTube channel, and also to those of you who would have joined us on our website. Thank you. God bless and have a wonderful Thursday.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Yes. I'm going to number one. Number one. Yes, the number one. Oh, yes. The number one. Number one.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour, on the hour.
This is these updates from the Northern News Report. Details coming up shortly.
30%. Everybody. Now more than ever, Flow understands the need to make dollar stretch. Our new bundles can help you save 30% off your current bill. Plus, get a full speed upgrade on your in-home internet. Simply add your mobile to your current home services account and save 30%. It's easy. Sign up now and save all on the most reliable fixed mobile network on island. Visit the Flow store or call us at 1-800-404-2994. More information. Flow, only